Top of the day to you. You're welcome to today's show. Compliments of the season once again. Gradually, we are inching one towards Christmas and one towards the end of the year. You believe it or not, everyone looks forward and towards this period of the year when celebration peaked, and it peaks very well. I've seen people, despite the fact that they say the country is tough, there is no money, cost of transportation. If you want to put a pin to my statement, just go to the Ojota and the Berger aspect sector of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And if you want to push it forward, just go. There's what we call the end of Berger Bridge. Just go and stand there for 2 minutes. You lose count of the number of vehicles fully loaded, both with human and their items, their luggages, rams, palm oil, or groundnut oil anyway, and rice. Bags of rice are moving. People are moving, all because we are in the joyous time. Anyway, this is Wale Ogunade. I'm your host, and the program is Voters Forum. We just want to express our joy at this time of the year because it's a time for us to celebrate. As one singer sang the other time, whoever this joyous period meets on earth must be grateful, must give thanks to God. Because when I was in school, my seniors will always tell us when they want to punish us, particularly those who are a step ahead of us, that 365 days is not a joke. I went to a boys only school, so don't worry, the rascality was down there. So they will tell you 365 days is not a joke. Here, 365 days is a joke. Going through and surviving 365 days is just the grace of God. So we all have to thank God. It doesn't matter whatever economic situation you are going through. I know it will be better. Next year is going to be well. And that's the topic we want to bring to you today. We want to look at the economy in the next year. And what is the foundation of that economy next year? The budget. The president has presented a budget to the National Assembly for next year. The budget will work, it won't work is another thing. And that's what we want to look at today. And before we go getting into the real meat of this topic, we'll just go on a short break. And when we come back, then definitely we'll get cracking. Yes, welcome back. Budget of growth. Well, I will grow. And I expect that indeed Nigeria will grow. You will grow. All of us will grow. It's a budget with great expectations. I hope not like that of Charles Dickens. Anyway, we've had budgets and we've been having budgets. And today we have our guest in the studio. And she's another person than Mrs. Olushola Agbalu. And she is a financial expert. I'll just put it at that. Because she will be talking. You'll be smelling finance in her. And I think that's why we brought her here. So as to give us some financial meaning and interpretation to this budget issue. Because some of us know no book. And since she knows it, she will just tear it down for us to our own understanding. Madam, you're welcome to the show.
Glad to join in the conversation.
Yes, it's been a long time since you've been here.
Yeah.
It's all right. We're happy to have gotten you and drawn you back here. I hope after this you will not go too far away from us. You're welcome to the show once more. And of course, the topic we want to look at is the budget.
Okay.
I want to believe that this is not the first time we've had budgets. And to me, we have lost count of budget that has failed. Budgets that have failed. Do we see this budget in that light, or it's going to succeed? Because the president spoke very well. The Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Assembly, of the House of Representatives. I even liked what he said, that the legislature is going to support the president with the legislative backup. Is it just legislative backup that will make the budget succeed?
Of course, the legislative backup is very necessary.
Okay.
Because if there's rancor or problems between the legislative and the executive,
Yes.
it won't augur well for the country, and
Yes.
it will affect the country.
Yes.
So I think that is why he's saying that.
Okay.
And I believe this year budget is different, and it's not going to fail. I don't see it as failing because of what the government has put in there. To just give simple analysis, because it's, when you want to talk about finance, you must be able to say something to a layman, that's something that is understandable. For 2025 budget, I think we have a budget of targeted revenue of 34.82 trillion. That is in revenue, and it's going to fund the budget of 47.9, and that is, it also includes 15.8 trillion for debt servicing. And also when the revenue is smaller than the expenditure, it means that we are having deficit, which is 15.81 trillion.
Okay.
Which is 15.81 trillion, no, 13.08 trillion.
Okay.
We have the shortfall, that is this deficit, and I think it is stated that they are going to use the GDP, as gross domestic products, to make that up. And what do we mean by gross domestic products? It's just in measure the goods and services that is produced in the country.
Okay.
So that's what is going to take care of the deficit.
Okay.
And this why I'm saying that the budget is not going to be a failed one is that I think if we are going to reach this budget all through, we can see that the government has taken steps. They are also deliberate in their decisions, and they are also very clear in their priorities in the way it is allocated.
Okay. Yes. Again, before we go, the foundation of Nigeria's economy is the crude oil.
Yeah.
The sale of crude oil. And by the virtue of this budget, we are told that they intend to produce 2.06 million barrels oil per day. Knowing the problems in the Niger Delta, theft, vandalization and all. And unfortunately, the OPEC rate that we have is that we only produce 1.4 million, leaving a shortfall of nothing less than 800,000 barrels. And of course, they are looking at the target or a rate of $75 per barrel. Okay. How can they now meet up with that shortfall in production? Because that's where the bulk of the revenue comes from. Are they going to borrow?
I don't think
because
they're
I
going
don't
to.
see the GDP.
The fact that they didn't meet up with the OPEC performance now, what we are doing now according to OPEC is lower than what the government is estimating. The government is estimating that because they are hopeful that they're going to improve in oil per barrel production per day, which is budgeted 2.06 million barrel per day. So we can't say because it's lower now according to the OPEC, it's going to continue to be lower. It's a budget that, like I told you, they have taken a deliberate action. They are taking deliberate action and a clear priority. So going to also concentrate effort in that petroleum. And then you mentioned the problem of the militants, and that is why we have the defense and security.
Yes,
it's also, the budget is 4.91. So they are going to also to secure all the places
that have been issues. Okay then. So let us quickly look at the issue of effective execution, because that is the problem of implementation. The effective execution of the budget via implementation. Are we looking at successful implementation or execution of the budget? Because fortunately, I just had a glimpse of the video of Tinubu when he came visiting yesterday in Lagos, and he went to the mosque in Alausa here, and the imam, I like the way the imam said it, that you are a good man, but you don't know how good those people that you have given assignments to, how they are, that it will be in his own interest as the father of the nation to ensure that everyone he has given responsibility carry out their responsibility perfectly well. If responsibilities are carried out perfectly well by all and sundries, because obviously it is human beings that are going to implement this budget. But what we have seen is that budget failure comes because of poor implementation. So how can and in what way can we see to this budget being fully implemented?
It's monitoring.
Good.
And that is the job, the oversight function of people at the National Assembly, both at the House of Rep and the Senate.
Yes.
They need to monitor closely for the, so that the budget is implemented.
Okay. Okay. So we are looking at inclusive growth because someone like me, I don't know, I've traveled around Nigeria, and in most cases there are so many rural areas, and the economy is driven from the rural to the urban. That's what happens all over the world. I've been able to go outside this country. I've seen that in other countries of the world, they have the farmland is where the activities and the action is, because without food, there is nothing for the people in the rural area. And more so, they are the one that keeps the country going through the economic activities in the rural area. In what way, or is it possible, or did government make provision for the development of the rural area to making it now pushing the economy to the height?
Like if you look at the budget, it is stated that it's a budget of bumper harvest. That is, they're going to be increasing the food production, and that is why, like, we still have to go back to the defense and security. That the budget, there's budget of 4.91 trillion. It's also going to ensure that farmers are not disturbed, they are not harassed, and they are not killed in the farmland, so that we don't have influx of people from the rural area to the urban area, so that people can take farming seriously. Because if we're able to take care of food production, I think we should be able, if we are taking care of food production, we'll be relieved, and the growth will start from there. You know, the growth is start from the physical growth. If there's no food, have food shortage. There's farm. What else is called farming? You can see that during Buhari, we were really troubled during that period by all these Fulani headsmen. People ran away from the farm. There's food shortage up to last early this year, whereby pepper, and tomato and other things, they just food stuff increasing prices and all that, because no longer farming, everybody is in Lagos, and most of our farmers, the young people, are coming to Lagos to ride okadas, to security jobs. Now, when the security, we've not come to the reality that we need to do farming, and we have to start our subsistence, so that people don't run away from the village. They also, because they also have been in Lagos, and they see that it's not even comfortable to live in Lagos because of increase in house rent. And there are things they are doing in the farm. I think they are going back to the farm, and government also realize this. That's why I said that they are taking steps, and also they are also have clear priority, like it is called bumper harvest, driven by, you know, enhanced security.
Yes. We know that what makes a budget work is the revenue. That's particularly the income to government. Fortunately, I want to delve into your area. I don't want to reveal it, but definitely I have to. You are a tax person involved in taxation. First of all, can you just give us a glimpse into this policy, this tax reform that the Tinubu government wants to introduce? That's the first question. Just in a nutshell, just the tax is this, the tax is this, so that it will do this, it will do that.
I think the tax reform, number one, is bringing relief to the low income. And also some businesses. Like now, you don't have a turnover that is up to 50 million in the new reform. I think you're exempted from VAT. That will also, it has a role an impact in the ease of doing business, and that is positive impact.
Okay.
And if you are not earning up to 70,000 per month, you are not taxable. That alone also for low income people, it will go a long way. And that's for people that are doing small business too.
Okay. So this issue that people have now been talking that this tax regime, this new tax regime is anti-poor. Does it stand, or they are talking out of ignorance? It doesn't stand. They are talking out of ignorance. If you don't, how many businesses, enterprise, employing people are paying 70,000 per month in Nigeria? Let us take, for example, the schools, the private schools. How many of them, the real private school, pay 70,000? I do tax audit for August, and my company is allocated with secondary schools and primary schools. Now I look at their payroll. The majority of them don't pay up to 70,000 per month, or even some even pay 30,000. So for them, they are not taxable, and it is a way for also for the low income earners. Yes. That is growth, and because there's no burden, tax burden is not on them anymore. Yeah. So again, is it possible, and well, it seems a peep into this budget will show that government is looking at providing social welfare, some incentives to the people. Will this social welfare, this incentive, get to the grassroots, or it can be cornered? Is there a way that government can work around that one? And that is the same thing that, I told you that there should be budget monitoring. You can't just do budget without monitoring it. And that is the oversight. I'm still saying it, I'm emphasizing this here for the Senate and the House of Rep. They have finance people there that monitor this budget to ensure it is strictly followed. Okay. There we are now looking at, we'll just look at this issue of debt management. Okay. Debt management. Because we are in debt. Like this budget too, there is a possibility that the expectation not finance it, and the government will come with supplementary budget in the middle of the year for it, because again, the life of this current budget, the 2024 budget, I heard the National Assembly, maybe the Speaker or the House or the Senate President telling us that it will be extended. It is extended to June. So, like I said on the debt management, for the debt management, it means that the government needs also to internally generate revenue to fund its projects. No borrowing at all. Because if you want to manage your debt, you are still borrowing. And also, this particular budget, what is worrisome is about 3% that makes up of 15.81 for debt management. And it's worrisome. That's for me. So the government has to do something about it. Because if you are using 30% of your revenue or what to manage to service debt, and this debt, they are debt that's carried forward from previous administration, so we still have problems. But like the government said, it's going to use GDP, which means with the provision of ease of doing business for companies, I think it will also increase. Yes. Yeah. So then the another issue that we want to quickly look at is that of the rich, the capital, the rich big businesses, and vis-a-vis tax holidays. Some big businesses that don't need to go or to be given tax holidays are given tax holidays, or as we call them, moratorium, is because of political connection. And I can't remember the name of the bill, but one of the bill was giving the power to the president that he can just give tax holiday to any company that requests for it. Is it proper for a company that is already standing to be given tax holiday rather than a small company that needs the support of government?
Tax holiday can be given to companies if they take up development projects of the company. They assist government in development projects. Most companies that are giving tax holidays are the startup. The startup are giving tax holiday, the companies. And also, you know, there are some exceptions, some tax exception for, especially those in free trade zone, whereby when your production is export based, you produce something that you can export. The government give you tax holiday. And that is helpful to encourage our export. And you know, when we export, we also grow our own currency.
Yes, that's it. Growing our
we
own
strengthen our currency.
We'll be going there very soon, but let us still be on this lane. There is an organization called Nigerian Export Promotion Council. One will expect that by now they should be bringing a lot of dollars to us by virtue of exports, which is as a result of the raw materials that we have that is in abundance in this country. I won't mention anyone because there are just too many. I've told you, I've had the opportunity of going around Nigeria. In fact, visited all the 774 local government. The local government in Nigeria, there is no local government that does not have any raw or any minerals whatsoever, natural mineral resources. There is none. They don't have sand, they will have rock. They don't have rock, they will have bauxite. They will have salt, they will have sand, they will have glass, bitumen, ginger, palm oil, palm seed, cotton, guinea seed, guinea corn. Do I continue? Rice, millet, just name it, yam, pineapple, all, tomato, potato. Which I expect that the council will go on and do. Is it not possible the president that we know should give them a matching orders for them to begin to export so that it will be able to help the economy and reduce pressure on the naira?
Yeah. That's a lot that you have mentioned, a lot of natural resources that we have. But as we have theft in petroleum, also we have in that area our gold. You can see what is going on in Zamfara and some other places. And also some other natural resources that, you know, some even foreigners are coming to take away, you know, through the connivance of Nigerian citizens. So governments also need to be a searchlight into that area, and also ensure that the Export Promotion Council, they are on their foot and do the necessary thing. We still have the box. I will still pass the buck to the National Assembly because they have committees who are supposed to be doing serious oversight function and monitoring of those people. The government needs to do that, and the National Assembly should also.
We've been educated, been informed, and we have been given some nitty-gritty about the budget and our expectations. Our guest here believes that the budget will work. For it to work, all the relevant agencies, National Assembly, the various MDAs, that's the ministry, departments and agencies of government, and you and I all have a role to play in ensuring that this budget sees the light of the day, that indeed is the budget of growth for you and me. And the only way it can happen is for all hands to be on deck. I appreciate again what the speaker said when the budget was presented. That's Abbas said that this project is not the president's project. It is the project of everybody. That includes you and I. And that's why we must all work so that indeed for the first time in the history of this country, we will have a budget that will say yes. Implementation, 80% or 90%. If we can't get 100%, let's get 80% implementation. But before then, the income, let it be 100% or even 110%. Beyond our expectation, we have surpassed our expectation. I don't know, people like the custom agents, the custom organization, Nigerian Customs, they always exceed their expectation. Maybe because of the situation in town, so many people want to smuggle, and they too are seriously interested in arresting those who are defaulters. But be that as it may, we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, then we'll now be on the home stretch. Don't go away. Welcome back. I guess what we'll do, as I was watching the reactions of members of the National Assembly, my mind just went to the fact that we'll do a Vox Pop next week. Vox Pop means that we'll just go to the streets and ask people questions about their views about the budget and their expectations. I hope that you will be part of those that will be interviewed, so that when we come back upper week, we'll show you, and you too will be happy that yes, you've added your voice. That's the whole essence of democracy. Democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that's why your voice too must count. Apart from that now, you have a responsibility, just as our guest said here some few minutes ago, that it must work. All hands must be on deck. That's why you two come in. You have to engage members of the National Assembly to ensure that it works, because they are your voice up there that will begin to make things happen. Calling those agencies and departments and ministries to come to order by telling Mr. Minister, or Director General, or even Oga Chairman, what is happening. We've not been seeing your hand. So an agency like FEMA now, why is it that it's always towards the end of the year that they will be doing giri-giri and repairing roads? It has to be a 24-month project every day of the year. Anywhere that they see potholes, they repair it. If that's it, then maybe those big-time contractors, I don't want to mention their names, that are handling road projects, and they ought to have finished along some time, and they refuse to. It is your duty to inform your member or your House of Rep person to go, or the senator, to begin to work on that. I like one of the men that was talking about his constituency suffering, and that is going, he may be grandstanding because he knows that he will be shown on television. But then, those are the things that we want, that people will have the interest of their constituent in mind.